Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. My slides are visible, right?
It's a visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So once again, very warm good evening to one and all, and I would like to thank again for this wonderful opportunity to share some of my understanding and thoughts about the global market trends of electric vehicle. Yeah, today I'm going to talk about the global market for battery and fuel cell powered electric vehicles. A brief introduction was already given about myself, so I will just skip this slide. As the title of the FDP suggests, that we are going to talk about the electric vehicle and fuel cell electric vehicle and battery electric vehicle towards a sustainable future. As I just stated before, climate change has become a threat and it became serious over this last few years, especially. And if you go and look back at what has happened during 2024, the number of climate related issues or the natural disaster occurred in last 1 year is more than that of what has happened over last few years. And currently as of today we are experiencing, or there is something happening at Los Angeles, as you all might be very much aware, that what is happening in California for last 15 to 20 days. And it is been clearly identified that all these issues are this wildfire. One of the main reason for this wildfire is the climate change. What you are seeing at the right side of this slide is the NASA's temperature spiral, which shows what has happened over the last 2 centuries, starting from 1880 to 2022. But what the recent picture or the recent spiral, which is introduced by NASA or which is released by NASA in 2024, is more alarming. As what we are seeing in this picture, it is within or very much close to that of plus or minus 1 degree Celsius. But on the other hand, in 2024, it has already passed and went out of this region. So while looking into the climate change, the major cause for this climate change is nothing but what we as a human being are doing, especially because of this industrial evolution and our sophisticated lifestyle. We started using more and more energy that led to more and more emission, and that is the primary driver for this climate change, and it has to come to an end. While focusing on several other things, United Nations came up with the Sustainable Development Goals, which are having 17 interlinked objectives. However, some of the goals are primarily focusing on how to tackle the situation of climate change and how we can take it forward towards the sustainable future. One among the options which is being seen for the decarbonization, as I stated before, the carbon emission, when we look into the carbon emission, which is one of the key factors for climate change, and in order to mitigate these issues, we need to look after the sustainable solutions. And again, after the electrical energy or electrical power generation industry, the industry which consume more and more oil and gas and emitting more and more carbon dioxide emission is transportation industry. And one solution in order to go towards the sustainable future is decarbonization through energy transition. So the aim is to adopt more sustainable technologies in order to cut the emission so that the global temperature can be kept within the range of 1.5 degrees Celsius at least by 2050. So what is energy transition? While looking, because one of the key factor which can lead to the sustainable future is decarbonization through energy transition. And energy transition is nothing but transformation of utilizing resources from fossil fuel based system for energy production towards renewable energy systems such as solar and wind, where it is not limited just to the renewable energy. At the same time, energy transition through electric vehicle is also considered, because electric vehicles are considered to be a most promising solution which can definitely take us towards energy transition. But however, it is not just a matter of taking it into consideration only using electric vehicle. At the same time, integration of renewable energy solutions into the electric vehicle charging also will be a great matter of consideration in order to achieve a sustainable future. As today's topic is mainly focusing on the global market of electric vehicles, I just would like to throw some light on the history of electric vehicles. We'll have a quick overview on the history of electric vehicles. Some of you might be definitely very much aware of these things, but it is always good to have a refreshment of what we are known of. Electric vehicles are not at all new. We have been talking about electric vehicles in the last 2 decades very seriously, and there are significant amount of research going on in different perspective of electric vehicle. But electric vehicles hit the market for the first time in late 1800, and they were introduced in the US auto industry. What you are seeing here is the Parker electric vehicle, which was introduced sometimes during 1800. And then it started slowly gaining popularity, especially among the women. And they were promoting electric vehicles. This is one of the brochure or flyer which was introduced during that time in order to promote electric vehicle from the Baker Electric Vehicle Company. Further, in 1900, as I mentioned, it was it just started in late 1800, but by 1900, 1/3 of the vehicles in US was electric cars. And the world's first hybrid EV was introduced in 1901. By the time even Thomas Edison started thinking seriously about developing more superior battery technologies in order to develop and take it forward. However, it has changed over the time. Something else has happened in the market. And this Who Killed the Electric Car is one of the famous documentary which is available in YouTube. If you go and type Who Killed the Electric Car, you will be able to gain lot of information from this YouTube video. Over the time, there was a change in trend, because by the time in somewhere in the middle of 1900, they discovered oil in some parts of Texas and in other parts of the world. By then, the internal combustion engine vehicle started gaining superiority for several reasons. Actually, it is not only because the discovery of oil. At the same time, the internal combustion engine cars were found to be superior mainly because of their availability and cheap cost. So, by the time, somewhere in the middle of 1900, Henry's Model T hit the market, and they changed the entire scenario of the market. Actually, they swiped out the electric cars completely from the market with their introduction, because they started producing. This is Henry Model T, Ford to say Ford Model T. They started manufacturing the internal combustion engine cars in the mass production, and with the cheaper cars, they swiped out electric cars from the market. Then later, let's say that somewhere around after 100 years later, electric car, the second wave. So whatever we have seen were considered to be first wave of electric vehicles in the electric vehicle community. Again, electric cars hit the market somewhere in 1990, but again, they miserably failed to hold the market because of several reasons. The technology, the power electronic technology and battery technology were not that sophisticated by that time. Especially the battery technology put this market down again, and there was no serious consideration among the public or the government agencies to look after the electric vehicle. These are all the reasons which faltered the second wave of electric vehicle. However, again after, let's say, after 2 decades from 1990 or 120 years after its introduction, now by 2000, let's say 2000 or 2005, sometimes in 2010, electric vehicles have come back to the market, and this time they came with the promising technologies, and now we are all talking about electric vehicles. And from that time now until today, the market is simply rising. Just quickly go through the different types of electric vehicles. We are talking about the battery electric vehicles and fuel cell electric vehicles. So I just thought of again go through a quick overview on how the vehicle technology is looks like. So when we look into the battery electric vehicle, the only power source in the battery electric vehicle is the battery, and we charge the battery using electric power by connecting the vehicle to the residential chargers or to the charging stations, wherein it also has the alternator in order to produce regenerative power and for other purposes. However, the major power source is only batteries in this car. These are some of the the current available electric cars in the market. This one is from Toyota SUV category, which is coming up with the 75 kilowatt hour battery capacity, and it has a range of 375 kilometer in single charge. This is a large range SUV. Second one is from Honda, which is a low range EV, which is having a battery capacity of 20 kilowatt hour, and the mileage is 132 kilometer per charge. A premium vehicle from Porsche, which is coming with a battery capacity of 79.2 kilowatt hour, and the mileage is 395 kilometer per single charge. Nissan Leaf has a battery capacity of 40 kilowatt hour, and also the mileage is 220 kilometer in single charge. This is considered to be a mid-range EV. A sporty version of Mini Cooper, which is coming with a battery capacity of 32.6 kilowatt hour and having a range of 200 kilometer range per single charge, is another most popular vehicle in Southeast Asia. So Southeast Asia has a good number of Porsche, and other than that, the cars which are available in the market are from Kia and also from BYD. While looking into the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, in the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, when you compare a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle to the pure electric vehicle or battery electric vehicle, it has a combination of both internal combustion. It has a combination of both the fuel tank and also the battery storage system. At the same time, it can be charged. The battery can be charged using electrical charger. At the same time, it takes the fuel also. When you are looking into this plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, it has both internal combustion engine and also an electric traction motor. So the range varies. Generally, in most cases, this plug-in electric hybrid vehicle has 50-50 proportion. And the third category of electric vehicle is fuel cell electric vehicle, where the primary power source is hydrogen-based fuel cells. As I just indicated, the market has started evolving. The electric vehicle market has started evolving sometimes in 2005, and in 2010, Electric Vehicle Initiative, which is a multi-government policy established in order to recognize the opportunities offered by the EVs. And you can see the co-leads where India is also taking a significant place. Canada, China, and UK are among the leaders. US is also one of the leader, while other countries are taking part in such initiative. And this electric vehicle initiative is started with a mission to create or to identify the opportunity and accelerate the adoption of electric vehicle across the world. This is how a global electric vehicle market looks like. If you are doing, I believe that most of you are from the electrical engineering background, and if you are working on electric vehicles, for sure, you would have been working on renewable energy or solar photovoltaic systems a while ago. If you go and look at the history of solar photovoltaic systems and their deployment worldwide, though it was started mainly from Germany or Europe, over the time, China took over its place, and at the moment, in the solar PV deployment, China is a champion in the world for the last few years. And the solar PV deployment is also growing over years. In the same way, if you look at the electric vehicle deployment, the global market of electric vehicle over the last 10 or 12 years, you can see how significantly the market is evolving, and who is leading the market. It is again as of now, the master or pioneer in electric vehicle industry is none other than China, followed by that Europe and United States, see the rest of the world. So while looking at this graph, if you have a look at this graph, you can see that the more than half of the market is held by China, and around 30% of the market is held by Europe, then a little by United States, but more then a very minimum is contributed by the rest of the world. And if you have a look at these numbers which are given here, again you can see that the global light duty vehicle sales were set to reach 40% by 2030, and it is expected that almost 55% by 2035 based on the policy setting which is available at the moment. And the electric buses are also projected to represent 30% of the buses will be replaced by electric buses by 2035. This is showing the EV sales production. EV sales projection. I have taken two graphs specifically. One is the world champion, which is China, what is being projected by 2035. You can see that from this graph, as it is expressing, more than 75% of the vehicles share will be electric vehicle in the market. And again, it is going for other cases. This is for two-wheeler and three-wheeler. This is for the light-duty vehicles. 75% is expected. Then buses, nearly 75% of the buses by 2035 will be electric, and the trucks are also nearly 50%. While we are coming into the Indian market, the electric vehicle share is expected by 2035 is approximately 70% of two-wheeler and three-wheelers, nearly 60% of light-duty vehicles, and the same level of buses, because the transport. One of the major difference between India and other countries, while we look into the perspective, buses are mostly used for public transportation purposes also. Therefore, buses are also expected to have a significant share in the Indian market, while trucks are not meeting much in Indian market while comparing to the Chinese market. This was the trend in 2024. What you are seeing here is from January 2024 to December 2024. So according to Romotion, the sale of full electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles had a hit of 25% extra while comparing to 2023. So the total EV sales in 2024 was 17.1 million, and it has a 25% increase while comparing to the previous year. When you look at the numbers which are below here, the comparison between 2023 and 2024, China has 11 million with 40+% of share. European Union and UK holds 3 million sales with 3% decline in their sale while comparing to 2023. And USA and Canada together contributed 1.8 billion sale, which is with a 9% increase, and the rest of the world has seen 1.3 million of electric vehicle sale, which altogether accounted 27% additional while comparing to 2023. But when you look at this again, in China alone, this is China market, 11 million vehicles from this 17.1 million vehicle, which is nearly 60% of the overall sale, which is showing here with the plus 40% increment while comparing to last year. These are some key takeaways from 2024. As I mentioned already, China is the leader of the EV market with 40% overall growth in 2024, and a huge part of coming from plug-in hybrid with the 81% growth compared to the battery electric vehicles, which are having a growth of 90%. Because of various reasons, there are plenty of reasons why people are going more towards the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle rather than the battery electric vehicle. As we are continuously talking about the advantages and the benefits of electric vehicle, pure electric vehicles also have some disadvantages, right? Could you please, I would like to hear from you what hinders the electric vehicle market in India? From your point of view, can you please share some of your thoughts by leaving message in the chat box? In your opinion, what do you think that hinders the electric vehicle market? I'll just wait for a few 2 minutes to see some messages as your response, just rather than me talking by myself throughout the session. We all know the advantages of electric vehicles, right? What do you see as a drawback of using pure electric vehicle? Or what hinders, or if you are not about to buy an electric vehicle, why you will not buy an electric vehicle? That's the question. Yeah, Mr. Vishal Mestre indicated it's a battery replacement. Great. Charging issues. Agreed. High cost and not enough charging stations. Correct. Slow charging speeds. Great. So while we wait for others to respond, we will just take these 4 points which are already mentioned here by some of your friends. So one is the battery cost, second one is battery replacement, third one is charging issues, fourth one is high cost and not enough charging station. Yeah. So while looking into the pure electric vehicle or battery electric vehicle, first thing is battery electric vehicles are expensive. Still, though the technology is evolving, of course, but the electric vehicles are still of very high cost. So that is one fact which is hindering. And the second important thing is replacement of battery. Though the battery life is meant to be 5 years, 10 years, whatsoever, you need to replace the entire battery package from the car, which is absolutely going to high cost. Then, so battery replacement cost is another factor which hinders the electric vehicle market. Third one is the charging issue. When we take into charging issue, there are not enough charging stations and the charging time is very high. When you have IC engine car, you just go to the fuel station, then in matter of 10 minutes, you get your car filled, then you can continue your journey. But in the present scenario, with the available charging infrastructure, it is first of all very difficult to find a charging station. Second thing is you need to wait minimum 2 hours to 4 hours to 6 hours, depends on the size of the car, to recharge your batteries. That is, we are not into such a society to leave our car and wait in a place for 2 to 4 hours for charging. And the lack of infrastructure facilities, that is what I said. So while we are taking and putting them together into the picture, what is happening ultimately? For example, that I used to say this example whenever I talk about electric vehicle. Let's say that we are riding our car, or let's say that we are going in our scooter, or by the time, I mean, if we realize that the scooter is running out of the fuel, what is the best thing we will do? We will call our friend, and he may come and tow us, or he will come with a bottle of petrol so that we can pour it in the scooter, move on to the next fuel station and do that. But when you are driving an electric vehicle, if it gets stopped at some places because of the electric charge, then that is the end of the story. You cannot think about going forward because you need to tow the vehicle by using the recovery van, because you cannot really bring electric charge into a bottle, or there is no such option. So there comes the range anxiety, like that is where I am coming into. The second point is saying that when it comes to China, 81% of overall growth is coming from the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, which resolves all those points which we have discussed here. Because it is going only for 50%, and it is also operating with the internal combustion engine. So you don't expect any of such issues which we have discussed, or which are listed by our friends in the chat. At the same time, there are drawbacks. I mean, it is not the drawback. When you look at purely into the environmental constraint, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles are not a very suitable choice, but they are acceptable choices. Toyota, from the time when it started working on the electric vehicle development, Toyota did not thought of going for direct or pure electric vehicles. Toyota was always looking into the hybrid electric vehicles. Toyota is famous for its hybrid electric vehicle. And at the moment, or in the current scenario, presently when we are discussing about the electric vehicle market, Toyota is not focusing more on pure or battery electric vehicles. Rather, Toyota's focus is always on hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles, because they are going a step forward in order to prove to the market and bring it as more into a sustainable solution. Let's move on to the third point. BYD sales is keep growing throughout the year, and at the moment across the globe, BYD is holding a very promising market in electric vehicles. I'm sure that a Indian market is also somehow occupied by BYD's electric vehicles. The reason is that their variety of vehicles, the options, are the technology adopted into the vehicles, are the features engaged into the vehicles, are making BYD as one of the market leader at the moment, right? And if you see that in China in 2024, over 1/3 of every new vehicle sold was BYD's models. That is how BYD's market is growing. And even in Brunei Darussalam, we are expecting a significant growth of market, BYD's market, in the near future. And Norway continues to have a highest penetration rate of electric vehicles, with more than 90% of cars and light-duty vehicles by the end of 2024. So these are all the information which are gathered from the source RoMotion. Let's move on to the Indian market, as most, like some of the key or top vehicle manufacturers, electric scooters. The beauty of Indian market is that while everyone else is talking about light duty vehicles and the buses and the trucks, in India, one of the promising market is this three-wheeler market. Actually, the market is growing like anything while comparing to other places, and Mahindra and Hero are doing something really better in the market. When we look at the top 10 electric vehicle manufacturers in India, for the scooters even, these are the companies which are into the electric vehicle market for a while. Though Hyundai is not direct Indian company, but Hyundai has its manufacturing plants there in a few places in India, and they are evolving. The second, likewise, this MG. Ather is focusing on two-wheelers alone, and also Okinawa is also a two-wheeler industry. When we are going into the top electric car models in India, obviously Tata is holding a good place with through its, this Tata Nexon is one of the good electric car and most accepted electric car in India. Then while going to MGs, I'm not sure about how the market is growing in India for MG, but Tata Motors and Mahindra Electric are doing a great business there. Again, when we are going to the two-wheelers here, Hero, Ather, and Bajaj, and Ola Electric, though there are some issues with Ola Electric, Ola is holding a good market trend in sales. Then, whenever we are talking about electric vehicles, our focus is mainly on the electric vehicle alone, but there are two or three other industries which are need to be taken into account. One is the power electronics industry, second one is the battery industry, and third one is the charger industry, actually. Charger manufacturing industry. These three industries also need to be taken into account. However, in India, Exide and Tata Motors are doing some good business and in electric vehicle battery manufacturing along with Amara Raja. Others into the market are Maruti Suzuki and Hero. So while looking into the Indian market, when compared to the global market, Indian market also has seen a progress in the year 2024 with overall sale of 14,800 and 245, which is a penetration of only 6%. Now you need to compare where the electric vehicle market is going worldwide and where we are heading into. As I just stated before, China had 40% increase in its sale while comparing to its previous year, and the amount of vehicles sold out by Chinese market was 11 billion during 2024. As when we look into our market, the EV sales in India was only 14,800 and 245 with a penetration of 5.59%. Again, which is, of course, we have a improvement in, we have a progress in the sales. However, the market is still slow. And the India's EV sales accounts only 2.5% of the annual car sales, which means then you can imagine, you can just calculate the total number of electric cars sold out in this year 2024 is 40 lakh, which is only 2.5% of the total cars sold in that year. Then you count how many number of cars are, how many crores of IC engine cars are sold out during this same year. As I mentioned here, there are several things happening in India. Maruti has already planned to set up its fast charger, because we just indicated, while we discussed about the current scenario, what is hindering the electric vehicle market, we said that we have only slow chargers and the charging time is very high. Maruti has already planned to set up high 100 fast chargers across different cities. Likewise, Tata Motors and Hyundai are also about to set up public chargers across the country. And government initiatives and the Indian government is inviting a lot of investments in electric vehicle mobility sector, actually. This is the EV market and trends in India. As you see, by 2023, it is in 1,000. It was 15 lakh. It was expected to be 15 lakh. We have just seen the number, right? And there is a great potential in the Indian market. While comparing to 2022, the Indian market size was only $3.2 billion, while it is estimated that the market will reach $114 billion in another 5 years. And these are the key trends where we can see the number of EVs registered over the years, which is ranging from, we have started really slow, but our market is also growing steadily. The Indian market is really growing very steadily, and number of vehicles sold by categories are shown here. This is where we need to focus more on. That is what I said. Yeah, the Indian market is something unique when compared to other places. When you have a look at this one, where this is 88.59 millions of cars were sold, but when you look at these numbers again, the two-wheelers, this is actually the number of two-wheelers and three-wheelers. That is why I said the Indian market is very unique, because Indian market has a potential growth in terms of two-wheeler and three-wheeler sale while comparing to the four-wheeler or light-duty vehicles. This is a sector-wise composition of electric vehicles sold in the financial year 2024. While again, as I stated here, if you look at this one, 57% is two-wheeler and 38% is three-wheeler. Then the passenger vehicles are only 5%. You can see the number of public EV charging stations across the country. It was from February 2024. There would be much variation in these figures by now, but Maharashtra has 25% and Delhi has 25% among the chargers here. I mean 16% from the chargers. Kerala is also having good number of chargers, because in while you look at the landscape, Kerala market is evolving for various reasons, because the Kerala government is promoting electric vehicle and renewable energy technologies by several ways. I mean, if any one of you are in touch with people from Kerala, because last year I have been I have been teaching a course for on electric vehicle for one of the university in India as an adjunct professor. By the time while I was gathering some information about electric vehicle market in India, I realized that there is a surprising factor that the Kerala government is collaborating. I mean, the Electricity Board of Kerala is collaborating with one of the charger manufacturer, and they have been installing chargers across the state just by employing a charger on the electric post. That was the combined project with the Kerala State Electricity Board, known as KSEB, and one of the charger manufacturers. That way, at any street, if you go, you can find a charger there, because they simply employed a charger and an electric wall post, and it is directly connected to the supply. So they are just doing it in a different way in order to promote electric vehicle in Kerala industry. And there are good amount of initiatives taken by Indian government, and you all, those who are, that's what I said. If you are already into the electric vehicle related research, or you are into the electric vehicle technology, then you would have been very much aware of FAME 1 and FAME 2. I mean, FAME was the project initiated by Indian government for installation of electric vehicle chargers across the country, followed by the success of FAME 1. FAME 2 is currently in process, and there is an automotive mission plan 2026, which is also providing policies for the business market and also for the researchers. Have a quick look on the Indian market. When we look into the state-wise promotion of electric vehicle, Goa has the highest penetration of electric vehicles in India with 14.20%, and second largest market in India is Delhi. As we know what is happening in Delhi, the emission became a major issue or major threat in Delhi, and Delhi has introduced several policies and operation of cars by, I think that it is by odd number, even number in a cycle. Some sort of initiatives are already taken by the government of Delhi in order to reduce the emission. And in the same aspect, Delhi's electric vehicle market is also very good. If you go to Delhi, then every other auto rickshaw you are going to hire will be the electric auto rickshaw only. It is mostly gas or electric autos, rickshaws are there in Delhi. Then when we look into the infrastructure, because that is what I said, when we talk about electric vehicle, we cannot talk only about electric vehicle market. We need to look after the other subsystems and manufacturers of batteries, power electronics, and also the charging stations. So as of February 2024, the number of charging stations were accounted as 12,146, and I'm sure that it would have been much more than that of this number, because it is nearly 1 year from the time when this account is taken into. And while projecting the market, it is expected that at least 1.32, because there is a prediction and there is an estimation of number of electric vehicles expected to be into the market every year. That is what I have shown. What is expected by the estimated value of the market is 132 billion US dollar, which means that much number of electric vehicles are expected to land into the market or penetrate into the roads. By then, you need charging facilities, and by 2030, it is expected that 1.32 million charging stations alone are required, with the growth of 400,000 charging stations installed every year. When looking into these numbers, the penetration or installation of the electric vehicle charging stations are not really going to meet the expectations. Then Hyundai Motor India is improving its accessibility or promoting electric vehicle charging stations by establishing its ultra fast EV charging stations, and also Maharashtra already has target of 10% share of EVs in all new vehicles by the end of December 2025. Likewise, Karnataka has already set a goal to electrify 100% of their 3 and 4-wheeler cargo vehicles by December 2030. Though it looks an ambitious target, this is the need of an hour in order to tackle the challenges of skyrocketing oil price and other environmental issues which are related to the IC engine based vehicles. These are some of the key points to be taken into account while looking into the Indian market. As I stated before, it is expected that the market value of Indian EV would be 114 billion US dollar, and India aims to increase the proportion of EV sales to 30% for private cars and 70% for commercial vehicles, which is all targeted for 2030. That's why, once again, while the EV market grows, the battery market will also grow, and the battery market was 16.77 billion in 2023, and it is expected to go over 27.7 billion by 2028. Right? This is all through the investments which are coming from the various stakeholders of the EV market. There are plenty of opportunities available in Indian EV market, and Indian EV market is now targeting to increase its operation by manufacturing low-cost vehicles when compared to the Europe and Latin America. Then the policy support. This is what I just mentioned about. In phase 2 of the FAME scheme, the capital subsidy of 800 crore is being targeted in order to set up 7,432 public charging stations. If you remember, or if you are able to recall the numbers I have stated, we need 1.32 millions of chargers with 4 lakh charging stations installed every year from now in order to achieve the target by 2030, wherein the FAME 2 is focusing on, or FAME 2 has come up with the investment of 800 crore subsidy for 7,432 charges, which is, you can compare and and account the percentage of charges which are coming into the market, while the requirement is something really huge. There are quite other number of investment opportunities available in India, and Maruti Suzuki is to export electric vehicles to Europe and Japan with the high specification EVs featuring 60 kilowatt hour battery with a range of 500 kilometers. We have been talking about the range anxiety for a while. If you go and get a Hyundai Kona, which is having a range of 400 plus kilometers, while at the same time the cars from MG and Hyundai are also coming with such a good range. This is how the EV battery market appeared in 2023. When you look at the market here, CATL is the leading market player in the battery manufacturing, and the second leader on battery manufacturing is BYD. So, when you look into the scenario, in both EV manufacturing and battery manufacturing, BYD is holding a very good market. These are some of the other industries where LG Energy, Panasonic, and Samsung are also into the market. While if you see here, again, China is holding most of the market for battery manufacturing again. Right. We have been talking more and more about, like all those things what we have discussed. If you look at the statistics, all the statistics are focusing only on the battery electric vehicle, right, or the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, because the market of fuel cell electric vehicle is still growing. It is not, as of now, the market doesn't have any, there is no potential or promising market. These are some of the initiatives taken by different countries or different companies across the globe in the development of the hydrogen based vehicles, and where I stated before, I mentioned a few times during the session that Toyota is focusing more on the hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. If you see the first point, Japan is pushing for the hydrogen based society, and it has started its hydrogen strategy in 2017, and Toyota Mirai is the world's first commercially available fuel cell electric vehicle, right? Because Toyota just wanted to be the pioneer of hydrogen-based vehicles. Actually, Toyota is not really. When we talk more and more about electric vehicle, we conveniently forget some part of the geopolitical or mining. While we are talking about that electric vehicles are emission-free, we are saying that electric vehicle does not pollute the environment. In order to make batteries, there is a great mining happening in the last last decade, in order to get the mines for the battery manufacturing. So though electric vehicles at one side, electric vehicles are showing promising future for the sustainable development, it is coming by paying some cost for mining the minerals for the manufacturing of batteries. So that is from where, in my understanding, that is from where Toyota was very firm on promoting the hydrogen fuel cell based electric vehicles. As we know, the hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles are more sustainable solution than that of battery based electric vehicles, because of the because of its exhaust, and also the way how electricity is being produced here. And South Korea with Hyundai is having a vision of producing 2.9 million fuel cell electric vehicle by 2040. And also China is also planning for a hydrogen economy with 1 million fuel cell electric vehicle and 1,000 hydrogen refueling stations by 2030. Even the, while discussing with the people who are in the marine industry, this shipping industry is also moving towards a transformation of hydrogen and fuel cell based propulsion system for the future. That is what I heard, while having chat with some people who are in the marine industry. This is information I was able to gather from them. Again, France, European Union, Australia, and Canada are also working towards electric fuel cell based electric vehicle, where France has already planned for 7.2%, sorry, 7.2 billion euros of investment by 2030, where it is planning for. I mean, at the same time, Australia has again already introduced its national hydrogen strategy, and it is expected to be a major global player in clean energy or clean hydrogen by 2030. Right. So, as of now, I mean, until now, I just have explained about the global market scenario, what is happening in Indian market, how the electric vehicle market is evolving, and what are the other things happening around across the globe in battery electric vehicle and also in the hybrid, sorry, fuel cell electric vehicles. While we are all moving towards the sustainable future and focusing on the sustainable developments, I just would like to share a few things about what we are doing here, and what are my projects which I am working on. I thought of just to share a few things. Brunei has developed its national climate change policy with a target of 2035, where all these 10, I mean, Brunei has come up with 10 policies actually. All those 10 policies are focusing towards the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, wherein policy number 3 and, excuse me, wherein policy number 3 and policy number 4 specifically focusing on electric vehicle and renewable energy. And Brunei has a target of having 60% of electric vehicle sale by 2035. At the same time, Brunei is targeting on 30% of renewable energy mix into its grid connectivity. As you may know that Brunei is an oil-rich country, and its prime revenue is coming from oil also. Oil is very cheap. So the oil is sold at a very highly subsidized price. Therefore, people are relying only on the internal combustion engine vehicles. Likewise, electricity is also very cheap in Brunei because of the highly subsidized price. When we look into the landscape of Brunei, Brunei has a unique landscape where the public transportation is not very much available, which means that 99% of the population rely on their or use their own cars for their day-to-day transportation. When you imagine, the country is very small actually. The population is also 650,000 only. But at the same time, every other person has car in Brunei. They completely rely on their own car for transportation purposes. So there comes a good amount of cars are sold out in Brunei every year, and the emission rate is comparatively high. When we look into the Southeast Asian region, even Brunei is having some challenges in the carbon dioxide emission because of the oil production and also for the particular reasons. Where then we have been talking about, like I just mentioned all these things about these electric vehicles, and we talked about the benefits and all. But anyway, though electric vehicles are called to be emission free, are the electric vehicles really emission free? Do you all agree with that statement? If electric vehicles are not meant to be emission free, then we need to understand why the electric vehicles are not emission free. The fact is that, yeah, because the fact is that electric vehicles are emission free, yes, but in a very specific way that electric vehicles don't have direct emission. I just would like to show you, you know, right? We all know, if you are an electrical engineer, you would definitely know what does you see here, it is our typical power system with the generation, transmission, and distribution system to the end customer. We can see ourselves as an end customer here as a residential customer. So what we are doing here, see here we are producing power using the conventional fuel. It can be oil, gas, coal, whatsoever. Then we are getting the power here. So what we are doing now, when you want to charge your electric car, we are connecting the electric car either to charge by connecting it to our home or by connecting it to the charging infrastructure. So while doing that, where the electricity comes from, the electricity is ultimately coming from the generating station, which is using the conventional fuel sources. So which defeat the statement that electric vehicles are emission free, right? Because the emission which is supposed to be caused by the electric vehicles are already being caused by generating electricity at this point itself. So there is no point to claim that electric vehicles are emission free. The statement is true to the extent that electric vehicles don't have direct emission, but electric vehicles are indirectly emitting because we are charging the electric vehicles by connecting them to the conventional grid system. So that is why I said that when you look into the sustainable future by having electric vehicle into the system, then the pathway is clear only when we are integrating the renewable energy solution. So we just have, this is one of my project which I deployed into the university campus in order to study the feasibility and techno-economic analysis of the solar PV powered electric vehicle charging stations. This is the technology is not new, but this is one of the project I am currently working on in order to understand the studies where we have set up the on-grid solar PV system which is connected to the charging station. This is our charging station which we have deployed in our campus, where it is installed. I have installed a 10 kilowatt PV system, and the charger is a 20 kilowatt charger. And we have been using different electric cars in order to study, because we have a collaboration with different electric automobile companies, and I have been using this Kia Niro 5 for 3 months to study the charging behavior of the charger, the generation, and also the mileage of the vehicle. So by doing that studies, I did not show any of my results here because the results are not yet published. What I am doing here is that I am using different electric cars from different companies, charging them. They all have different types of onboard chargers. So we charge the electric vehicle in the charging station. Then I have been using these cars for all my purposes to drive around Brunei. So I have been using this car to go across different places in Brunei to study the driving cycle, driving behavior during different times. And we are collecting those informations in order to identify the feasibility of using solar PV powered charging stations. Other than that, I have been working, currently I am focusing, other than that of this electric vehicle charging station projects, I am equally committed to the solar PV based solutions for agriculture, aquaculture actually. More rather than saying agriculture, we are working closely with the aquaculture industries for doing some projects with solar PV based solutions. Anyway, I just thought of share this information in order for you to know that what I have been doing. Anyway, with these things, I would like to conclude my presentation, and the summary of presentations are outlined here. As our today's discussion was focusing mainly on electric vehicle market. I'm not a market guy actually, because I usually do the research in a different aspect. I started with my, that's what I said. I started with the PV system research, then I moved into the microgrid and energy management studies. Currently, I am mainly focusing on electric vehicle related studies, because we are closely aligned with government agencies in Brunei. Our Center for Research, our Center for Transport Research is working together with several government agencies, and we are providing policies. We are creating and providing policies to the government agencies. At the same time, the idea of this solar PV powered charging station has been adopted and already been in discussion in Brunei airport. And sooner we are expecting the Brunei Darussalam airport to come up with the solar PV powered charging station. At the same time, we are promoting these initiatives across the country and also with our fellow researchers. So while looking into this, if you want to go for, market has a potential future. Electric vehicle market is growing fast enough. So the countries like China is leading the market, and companies like BYD from China and Tata Motors in India are holding the market, and we are seeing significant development and progress in the coming years. In addition to that, of having electric vehicle technology, the battery technologies with the higher dense batteries. We did not talk much about the batteries. We are slowly moving from lithium-ion batteries technologies into the solid-state batteries now. Solid-state batteries are more efficient, more affordable, and they have better energy density than that of the batteries which are currently in the market, and they are more safer actually. Other than any other properties, solid state batteries are more safer while compared to the other batteries. While looking into the electric vehicle battery electric vehicles in one aspect, we must not forget the fuel cell electric vehicles, because fuel cell electric vehicles would definitely the fuel cell electric vehicles would definitely be a significant alternative, or a promising alternative, to overcome the issues which are happening, or which are now faced by the electric vehicle industries. So with continued technological advancements and the supports and policies from governments, FCV is expected to play a significant role. While many countries are introducing incentives, that is how electric vehicle market is promoting, and India is also offering. In India, the subsidies are coming to the infrastructure facilities in order to promote electric vehicles. So these are all the points which are specifically focusing on Indian market, which I have already mentioned about all these things. And in order to put our hands together for the sustainable future, it is essential to look after the alternative solutions and technologies, not only by electric vehicles. At the same time, we need to look after the sustainable charging solutions also, that would make or create a more sustainable future. So with these words, I would like to conclude my presentation, and now I am open for any questions. Thank you for your patient listening. I hope that I am able to, whatever I have delivered here are the informations which I understand or learned from through discussions and sources, and I hope that you get a flavor of it, and you are taking something away from my presentation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any doubts, you can post your queries in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and ask questions.
You can find my LinkedIn profile and Google Scholar profile here. You can find me through these two profiles. I am not available in Facebook or any other social media. I am available only in LinkedIn, and also my Google Scholar profile is here. I posted my email address here. So if there is anything you would like to discuss in future, or if you want to talk to me, you can reach me out through this email address, right? Thank you very much.
Sir, I have one question.
Please.
Sir, thank you for your nice presentation. So when comparing EV battery with hydrogen fuel, so which one is better for future?
Obviously, fuel cell electric vehicles are the better solution for the future, not for future. I mean, from this scenario, but the technology is evolving because the storage became a challenge. Now we are not more into the fuel cell electric vehicles mainly because of the storage of hydrogen. Actually, in Europe, they have already started installing hydrogen stations. Actually, hydrogen filling stations. So, moreover, when you look into the energy density of the hydrogen storage and the range of the vehicles, this is something really fantastic when you compare to the battery-based electric vehicles. And by all means, the hydrogen-based electric vehicles or fuel cell electric vehicles are much more sustainable than that of battery electric vehicles.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have a question, sir. Sir, usually lithium-ion batteries they catch fire in some places, sir. While using solid-state batteries, will this issue get solved, or it will be in the same way, sir?
Actually, when we look at the battery is an exploding device, right? It's a highly inflammable and exploding device. We cannot ignore the fact that batteries will explode. But while looking at the lithium-ion batteries, when you compare these lithium-ion batteries with the solid-state batteries would be much more safer than that of the lithium-ion batteries. Like this became very common, and it is happening very frequently in India that the scooters are, especially exploding. When we look at into a scientific point of view, in my understanding, thermal management is a key issue that causes explosion of these batteries. One thing is that they are coming out to the market without proper compliance testing, actually, because they just want to hold the market. They want to sold out the vehicles, then they are just sending the vehicles into the market. So one point is compliance. Second key factor is the thermal management, because we are, I mean, in general, in India, most part of India is having a temperature in the range of 40 degrees Celsius. Now there is no different seasons and all, right? Throughout the year, either we have summer or we have flood. These are the only two things happening, right? So when you look into the summer weather means throughout the year it is more or like summer, because from February onwards we started saying that it's getting hotter, isn't it? So the vehicles, when the vehicles are driven battery, obviously get heated. Batteries are getting heated, and the vehicles are parked under the sun. Then there is a temperature rise further. Those things are coming together and batteries are exploding. There are other reasons into it, but thermal management is one of the key issue. That thermal management issue can be somehow sorted out to some extent with the help of these solid-state batteries, for sure. So solid-state batteries, since they are batteries, they will also explode. They may also explode, but not to that extent of what we are experiencing now with the lithium-ion batteries. That is my understanding.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
Hello, ma'am.
Sir, okay, sir. Sir, on behalf of all the participants, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sheikh Muhammad Sultan for delivering such a beautiful session on market trends, challenges, advancements in the growing global market for battery and fuel-powered electric vehicles. Sir, your expertise in analyzing market dynamics, highlighting some innovations and opportunities and challenges has provided us with a wealth of knowledge. And the detailed exploration of Indian EV market was particularly valuable, offering a deeper perspective on the current and future landscape of the EV industry in India. Sir, we are very truly grateful for your time, effort, and thoughtful insights, which have undoubtedly enriched our understanding of this dynamic and evolving field. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for your insightful, provoking session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Sir,
you.
thank you very much, sir, for a nice presentation. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
sir.
Dr. Venkatesh. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity. And I
Thank
hope
you,
that
sir.
you all will take something out of this presentation that would be more than
Yes, sir.
sufficient. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
See
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Participants can take a 10-minute break. So you all can assemble by 8 p.m. so that we can have our session 2. So kindly fill the feedback link in the chat box for the session 1, which is like compulsory for getting your certificates. So please fill the feedback link in the chat box.